Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Genevieve Aichele, the founding executive director of New Hampshire Theater Project, and I'm happy to say the director of this particular show, which is one of my all-time youth rep favorites. Thank you for celebrating New Hampshire Gives with us. As I'm sure you know, this is a very difficult time for theaters everywhere in the world. We can't open our doors and do the work we love and share it with you. So we're celebrating some of the work we've done in the past, and we hope to do, we know we will do in the future. If you enjoy this production, or if you were a youth repper or an alumni or a parent, and you feel that NHTP was an important part of your life, we hope that you will give generously tonight and send a donation to New Hampshire Theater Project as we celebrate New Hampshire Gives. So we are going back to 2009. It's hard to believe this show was done 11 years ago, and that the students who were 13 to 17 at the time are all grown up now, many of them working in professional theater or teaching and educators, and that really warms my heart to know that. This was an amazing production for a number of reasons. First of all, we didn't cut it. A lot of people cut Hamlet because it is one of Shakespeare's longest shows, and especially when you're working with teenagers. But we agreed as a group that the words were so beautiful, we couldn't find anywhere to cut. And that meant a tremendous amount of work on the part of these young people, endless hours of rehearsal and memorization, and really understanding the text, as well as the characters. And we rehearsed for 8 months, 1 or 2 nights a week, and often even more than that. I wanted to point out a few interesting details. Well, first of all, thank you to Randy Armstrong for the extraordinary music. We received a Meet the Composer grant from the New England Foundation for the Arts, and that was how we were able to bring Randy on board. And his music adds so much to the production. I believe the album's still available if you enjoy it, and go to his website, randyarmstrong.com, and check it out. Some of the little details I wanted to point out. Eli Hubner was the fight choreography, and Eli was a member of the company. He plays Horatio, but he did a lot of research and pointed out to me that Laertes was trained at his college in France, and Hamlet was trained at his college in Germany, and therefore their fighting styles would be completely different. So you'll see that reflected in the final duel, and I don't think I've ever seen a production of Hamlet, professional or otherwise, that reflects that. The lighting design was done by Jacob Moses, who was also an alum. He was in the first youth rep cohort. And combined with Megan's set design, which was very simple, it's 3 wooden frames and 3 gold curtains. The effect was amazing in the theater. You can't see it as well in the video, but when we're watching it live, we went from the intimacy of Ophelia's bedroom to the enormity of a battlefield. And all this done by rearranging some simple wooden shapes and the lighting. Kathy Mason's wonderful costume design. We still use these costumes. They were so well made and so versatile. We use them over and over again. And let's see, I have here the original program, which I think you'll be seeing backwards, but I thought I would see who else I wanted to thank. Becky Rudolph, who's now Becky Fowler and still a member of the NHTP company, was the stage manager, and Colby Sr., Grace Derby were members of the youth company. They were our light board operator and costume assistant. And David D'Agostino, Dave Dag, he was the soundboard operator. I didn't even remember that, so thank you, Dave. I also want to do a big thank you to Karen and Jeff Gallagher from Stratham Heights Video, who taped the original show, and then to Jess Marbaker, another youth rep alumni, who transferred it from, I believe this was on DVD and not VHS, but transferred it to a digital format, and then to Catherine Stewart, who edited it all together for what you are going to see tonight. And finally, I want to end with a few words from Patrick Gantz, who was, and still is, I believe, an English teacher at Portsmouth High School. And he had brought several of his classes to see the show. And he wrote this email to me. In a nutshell, the play was beautiful, riveting, insightful, and inspiring. The actors played their parts with so much depth, and I was genuinely transported to Elsinore from beginning to end. We have purchased a copy of the video for the department, and I'm looking forward to using it in future Shakespeare classes. And so Hamlet lives on. But now tonight, here it is, the 2009 New Hampshire Theater Project Youth Repertory Company production of William Shakespeare's Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. Enjoy.
Who's there?
Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself.
Long live the king.
Bernardo,
He.
you come most carefully upon your hour.
'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Princess Found.
For this relief, much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart.
Have you had quiet guard?
Not a mouse stirring.
Well, good night. If you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
I think I hear them coming. Stand ho, who is there?
Friends to this ground!
And liegemen to the Dane.
Give you good night.
Well, farewell, honest soldier. Who hath relieved you?
Bernardo hath my place. Give you good night.
Holla, Bernardo!
Say, what, is Horatio there?
A piece of him!
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
What? Has this thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him, touching upon this dreaded sight seen twice of us. Therefore I have entreated him along with us, to watch the minutes of this night, that if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak to it.
Tush, tush, 'twill not appear.
Sit down a while, and let us once again assail your ears that are so fortified against the story what we 2 nights have seen.
Well, sit we down and let us hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made his course to moon that part of heaven, Marcellus and myself, the bell then beating one,
Peace, break thee off, look where it comes again!
in the same figure, like the king that's dead.
Thou art a scholar, Horatio. Speak to it.
What art thou that hast usurped this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of very Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven I charge thee, speak!
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Stay and speak! Speak! I charge thee, speak!
'Tis gone, and will not answer.
How now, Horatio? You tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy?
Before my God, I might not disbelieve without the sensible and true vouch of mine own eyes.
Was it not like the king?
Thou to thyself. Such was the very armor he had on when he the ambitious Norway combated. 'Tis strange.
Thus twice before, and jump at this dead hour. With martial stock hath he gone by our watch.
What particular thought to work I know not, but in the scope and gross of my opinion this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Good now, sit down, and tell me he that knows why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land, and why this daily cast of brazen cannon, and foreign mart for implements of war. Who is it that can inform me?
That can I. At least the whisper goes so. Our last king, whose image even now appeared to us, was by Fortinbras of Norway dared to the combat, wherein our valiant Hamlet did slay this Fortinbras, who, by a sealed compact well ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit with his life those lands he stood seized of to the conqueror. Now, sir, young Fortinbras, of unimproved metal hot and full, hath in the skirts of Norway here and there sharked up a list of lawless resolutes to recover of us those foresaid lands so by his father lost. This, I take it, is the main motive of our preparations, the source of this our watch, and the chief head of this post-haste and rummage of the land.
I think it be no other. But even so, well may it sort that this pretentious figure come armed through our watch, so much like the king that was and is the question of these wars.
Remote it is to trouble the mind's eye. Soft. Behold, lo, where it comes again. I'll cross it though it blast me. Stay! Illusion! If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me! If there be any good thing to be done, which may do ease to thee and grace to me, oh speak to me! If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, oh speak! If thou hast aborted in thy life extorted treasures in the womb of the earth, for which, they say, you spirits are wont to walk in death, oh speak of it!
Stay and speak. Stop it, Marcellus.
Shall I strike it?
Do it will not stand.
It's gone. We do it wrong being so majestical. To offer it a show of violence? For it is as the air, invulnerable, and our vein blows malicious mockery.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
Then it started like a guilty thing upon a fearful summons.
It faded on the crowing of the cock.
Soft. The morn in russet mantle clad walks o'er the dew on yon high eastward hill. Break we our watch up, and, by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet, for this spirit, dubbed to us, will speak to him. Do you consent we shall acquaint him with it?
Let's do it. And I this morning know where we shall find him most convenient.
Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that us best be fitted to bear our hearts in grief, that our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress of this warlike state have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with mirth in funeral and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we here barred your better judgments, which have freely gone with this affair along. To all, our thanks. Now follows that you know. Young Fortinbras, himself holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death our state to be disjoint and out of frame, colleagued with his sense of advantage, he hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father, with all bonds of law, to our most valiant brother. So much for him. Now for ourselves, and for this time of meeting. We have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who, impotent and bedrid, scarcely hears of this, his nephew's purpose, to suppress his further gait herein. And here we dispatch you, Voltimand, and good Cornelius, for bearers of this message to old Norway, granting you no further personal power with business to the king than that which these delated articles allow. Farewell. And may your haste commend your duty.
In this,
And in all things, will we show our duty.
We doubt it nothing. Heartily farewell. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is Laertes? You cannot speak of reason to the Dane and lose your voice. What wouldst thou beg, Laertes? It would not be my offer, not thy asking. The head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the tongue, than is the throne of Denmark to your father. What wouldst thou have, Laertes?
My dread lord, your leave and favor to return to France, from whence that willingly I came to Denmark, to show my duty in your coronation. Yet now I must confess that, duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again towards France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon.
Have you your father's leave? What says Polonius?
Hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave by laboursome petition, and at long last upon his will I did seal my hard consent. I do beseech you give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour. Time will be thine, and thy best graces spend it at thy will. And now, our cousin Hamlet, and our son.
A little more than kin and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord. I am too much in the sun.
good Hamlet, cast thy nighted color off,
And then I, like a friend on Denmark, do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common. All that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, 'tis common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems? Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone this inky cloak, good mother, together with all fumes, moods, shapes of grief that can denote me truly. But I have that within which passes show. These but trappings and suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know, your father lost a father. That father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to persevere in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, an understanding simple and unschooled. For what we know must be, and as is common as any the most vulgar thing to sense, why should we, with our peevish opposition, take it to heart? Fie, 'tis a fault to heaven, a fault to the dead, a fault to nature to reason most absurd. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart towards you. For your intent on going back to school in Wittenberg is most retrograde to our desire. We do beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and fair reply. Oh, Gertrude, this gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling in my heart. Oh, come away.
Oh, that this too sullied flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. Or that the everlasting had not fixed its cannon against self-slaughter. God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie upon it, I'll fie! It is an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this, but 2 months dead. Nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this a Hyperion to a satyr. So loving to my mother, that he might not between the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth must I remember, why she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on. And yet, within a month, let me not think on it frailty that name is woman, a little month, or ere those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body like Niobe, all tears. Why she, even she, oh God, a beast that once discourse of reason would have mourned longer, married with my uncle, my father's brother. Yet no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married. most wicked speed, to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. But break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship.
What? I am glad to see you well. Horatio, or do I forget myself?
The same, my lord, and your poor servant ever.
I am glad to see you well. My good friend, I'll change that name with you. But what make you from Wittenberg? Marcellus.
My good lord.
I am very glad to see you well, but what in faith make you from Wittenberg?
A truant disposition, good my lord.
I would not hear your enemy say so, nor will you do my ear that violence to make a truster of your own report against yourself. I know you are no truant. But what is your affair in Elsinore? We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Would I had met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever I had seen that day, Horatio. My father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all, we shall not look upon his like again.
I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw who?
The king, my lord. Your father.
The king, my father.
Season your admiration with intent ear, till I may deliver upon the witness of this gentleman this marvel to you.
Why, for God's love, let me hear.
For 2 nights together had this gentleman, Marcellus, with Bernardo been on their watch thus encountered. A figure, like your father, appears before them, goes slow and stately by them. Thrice he walked, and they, distilled almost to jelly with the active fear, stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me in part they did in dreadful secrecy, and I, together with them, the 3rd night kept the watch, where, as they had delivered, both in time and form of the thing, the apparition comes. I knew your father. His hands were not more like.
But where was this?
My lord, upon the platform where we watch.
Did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did, but answer made it none. Though once, methought it did, it lift its head and address itself to motion as it would to speak. But even then the morning cock crew loud in a drunken haste at the sound of it and vanished from our sight.
It is very strange.
As I do live, my lord, 'tis true. But we did think it writ down in our duty to acquaint you with it.
Oh, indeed, sirs. But this troubles me. Hold you watch tonight.
We do, my lord.
Armed, say you?
Armed, my lord.
Then saw you not his face?
A countenance more in sorrow than in anger.
Pale or red?
Nay, but very pale.
And fixed his eyes upon you?
Most constantly.
I would I had been there.
Would have much amazed you.
Very like. Stayed it long.
One with moderate haste would tell 100.
Longer.
Not when I saw it.
I will watch tonight. Perchance 'twill walk again.
I warrant it will.
If it assume my noble father's person, I shall speak to it, though hell itself shall gape and bid me hold thy peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. And whatsoever hell shall hap tonight, give it understanding but no tongue. I shall requite your love. Upon this platform, 'twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our duty to your honor.
My love's is mine to you. Farewell. My father's spirit in arms. All is not well. I doubt some foul play. Would the night were come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth overwhelm them to men's eyes.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And sister, let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet and the trifling mistake, hold it a passion and a toy in blood, a violet in the youth of primary nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and supplies of a minute, no more.
No more but so.
It get no more. Perhaps he loves you now, but you must fear his greatness wait. His will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may, as unvalued persons do, carve for himself, for on his choice depends the safety and health of the whole state, and therefore must his choice be circumscribed unto the voice and yielding of that body whereof he is the head. Then if he says he loves you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it, as he in his particular act and place may give his saying deed, which is no further than the main voice of Denmark goes withal. And weigh what loss your honor may sustain, if with too credent ear you list his songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affections, out of the shot and danger of desire. The chariest maid is prodigal enough if she unmask your beauty to the moon. Be wary then. Best safety lies in fear. Youth itself rebels, though none of us near.
And shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart. But good my brother, do not, as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whilst like a puffed and reckless libertine, himself the primrose path of dalliance treads, and recks not his own reed.
Oh, fear me not.
Laertes!
I stay too long, but here my father comes. A double blessing is a double grace. Occasion smiles upon a second.
Yes, here, Laertes, aboard, aboard for shame! The wind sits in the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for? There, my blessing with thee, and these few precepts in thy memory. Look thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought its act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, in their adoption tried, grapple them into thy soul with hoops of steel, but do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new-hatched, unfledged courage. Beware of entrance in a quarrel, but being in, bear that the opposed may beware of thee. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take every man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit, as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy, rich, not gaudy, for the apparel oft proclaims the man. Neither borrower nor lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all. To thine own self be true. And it should follow, as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell. My blessing cease in this in thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
The time invests you. Go, your servants tend.
Farewell. Ophelia, remember well what I've said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Farewell.
What is it, Ophelia, that he hath said to you?
So please you. Something touching the Lord Hamlet.
Mary, well bethought. 'Tis told me he had oft of late given private time to you, and you have of yourself been most free and bounteous. If it be so, I must tell you, you do not understand yourself so clearly as it behooves my daughter and her honor. What is between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me.
Affections. You speak like a green girl, unsifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should believe.
Marry then. I will teach you. Think yourself a baby they have taken these tenders for true pay, which are not sterling. Tender yourself more dearly, or, not to crack the wit of the poor phrase running it thus, you'll tender me a fool.
My lord, he hath importuned me with love in honorable fashion.
Fashion, you may call it. Go to.
And hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Springes to catch woodcocks. I do know when the blood boils, how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. These blazes, daughter, giving more light than heat, extinct in both, even as your promise it is a making, you must not take for fire. From this time, be something scantier of your maiden presence. Set your entreatments at a higher rate than a command to parle. For the Lord Hamlet, believe so much in him that he is young, and with a larger tether may he walk than may be given to you. In few, Ophelia, do not believe his vows. This goes for all. I would not in plain terms from this time forth have you so slander a moment's leisure as to give words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you. Come your ways.
I shall obey, my lord.
Bites shrewdly. It is very cold.
It is a nipping and an eager air.
What hour now?
I think it lacks 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed? And I heard it not. Then it draws near the season wherein the spirit held is wont to walk. What does this mean, my lord?
The king doth wait tonight and takes his rouse. And as he drains his draughts of Rhenish down, the kettle drum and trumpet thus bray out the triumph of his pledge.
Is it a custom?
Aye, marry is't. But to my mind, though I am native here and to the manor born, it is a custom more honored in the breach than the observance. This heavy-headed revel, east and west, makes us traduced and taxed upon by other nations. And indeed it takes away from our achievements.
But my lord, it comes.
Angels and ministers in grace defend us. Be thou a spirit of health, or goblin damned, bring with thee airs from heaven, or blast from hell. Be thy intents wicked or charitable, thou comest in such a questionable shape that I'll speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet. King, Father, Royal day, no, answer me! What is the reason that thou, dead corpse, again in complete steel revisits thus? Making night hideous, and we such fools of nature so hardly to shake our disposition with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls. Say, why is this? Wherefore? What should we do?
See. It beckons you to go with it as if it's some impartment it desire to you alone.
But do not go with it.
No, by no means.
It will not speak. Then I'll follow it.
Do not, my lord.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life at a pin's fee. And as for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing immortal as itself? It weighs me forth again. I'll follow it.
And what if it tempt you toward the flood? Or to the summit of the dreadful cliff war hangs his base onto the sea, and there assumes some other horrid form that may deprive your sovereignty of reason and drive you into madness. Think of it!
It waves me still. Go on. I'll follow thee.
You shall not go!
Unhand me, gentlemen!
You ruled, my lord, you shall not
go! My fate cries out, unhand me, I say! I'll make a ghost of him that lets me. I say away. Go on. I'll follow thee.
Wax is desperate with imagination.
Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey.
Have after. To what issue will this come?
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Hey, let's follow.
Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak, I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour has almost come, when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render myself up.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak. I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast in fires till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. But that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house, I could a tale unfold whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres, thy knotted and combined locks to part, and each particular hair to stand an end like quills upon the fearful porpentine. But this eternal blazon must not be to ears of flesh and blood. List, list, oh list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love, revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Aye, murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange and unnatural.
Haste me to know it, that I with wings as swift as meditation, or thoughts of love, way sweep to my revenge.
Now Hamlet here, 'tis given out that sleeping within my orchard, a serpent stung me. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
My prophetic soul, my uncle!
I, that adulterate, that incestuous beast, won to his shameful lust the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what a falling off was there! From me, whose love was of that dignity that it went hand in hand, even with the vow I gave to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were pale to those of mine. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air. Brief let me be. Sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Habona in a vial, and into the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effects hold such an enmity with the blood of man, that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor it doth posset and curd, like eager droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine. Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossoms of my own sin, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. Oh horrible, most horrible. If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursues this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be near, and gins to pale his ineffectual fire. Adieu. 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 Remember me.
O all you hosts of heaven, remember thee? Yea, from the table of my mind, I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all saws of books, all precious past and form and observation copied there. Thy commandment all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matters, yes, by heaven! Oh, most pernicious woman. Villain, villain, smiling, damned villain! My tables. Need it is I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it is so in Denmark. So uncle, it is to my word. Adieu. Adieu. Remember me. I have sworn it.
My lord! My lord!
Lord Hamlet!
Oh, heaven secure him.
So be it.
How is it, my good lord?
My lord, what news?
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, good my lord, tell it.
No. You will reveal it.
Not I, my lord, by heaven.
Nor I, my lord.
How say you then? Would heart of man once think it, but you'll be secret.
I, by heaven.
I, my lord.
There is never a villain dwelling in all of Denmark, but he is an errant knave.
There needs no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this.
Why, right you are right. And so without more circumstance at all, I find it fit that we shake hands and part. You as your own business and desire shall point you, and for my own poor part, I shall go pray.
These are but wild and whirling words, my lord.
I am sorry they offend you. Heartily. Yes, faith heartily.
It's no offense, my lord.
Yes. By St. Patrick there is, Horatio, and much offense too. Touching this vision here, it is an honest ghost, that let me tell you. And so, good friends, as you are friends, scholars, and soldiers, grant me one poor request.
What is it, my lord? We will.
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
We will not, my lord.
Nay, but swear it.
Not I, my lord, in faith.
Upon my sword!
We've sworn already.
No, indeed, upon my sword, indeed.
Swear!
Boy, sayest thou so? Art thou there, true penny? Come on. You hear this fellow in the cellarage? Consent to swear.
Propose the oath, my lord.
Never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my sword.
Swear!
Come hither, gentlemen, and lay your hands upon my sword. Swear by my sword, never to speak of this that you have seen.
Swear by his sword.
Well said, old mole.
Oh, day and night. This is wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger give it welcome, Horatio. Why, there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy. But come, here as before, never so help you mercy. How strange or odd somehow I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think me to put an antic disposition on, that you at such time seeing me, never shall give out that you know aught of me. This do swear, so that grace and mercy and most need help you.
Swear!
Rest, rest, perturbed spirit.
We swear.
So, gentlemen, with all my love I do commend me to you. What so poor a man as Hamlet is may do to express in loving friending to you, God willing, shall not lack. Let us go in together. And still your fingers on your lips, I pray. Cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right. Nay, come, let us go together.
Marvelous wisely, good Ronaldo, before you meet him, to make inquire of his behavior.
My lord, I didn't intend it.
Marry, well said, very well said. Look here, sir. Inquire you first where danskers are in Paris, and how, and who, what means, and where they keep, what company, at what expense. And finding by this encompassment and drift of questions that they do know my son, take you as for some distant knowledge of him. As such, I know his father, and his friends, and in part him. Do you mark me, Ronaldo?
Very well, my lord.
And in part him, but, you might say, not well. But if it be he, I mean, he's very wild, addicted so-and-so. And there placed upon him what forgeries you please. Marry, none so rank as may dishonor him, take heed of that. But sir, such wanton, wild, and usual slips are as companions noted and most known to youth and liberty.
As gaming, my lord.
Aye, or drinking, fencing, swearing, quarreling, drabbing. You may go that far.
My lord, that would dishonor him.
Faith, no, as you must season it in the charge. You must not place another scandal on him, that he is open to incontinency. That's not my meaning. But breathe his faults so quaintly, that they may seem the taints of liberty, the flash and outbreak of a fiery mind.
But my good lord.
Wherefore should you do this?
Aye, my lord, I would know that.
Marry, sir, here's my drift, and I believe it to be a fetch of wit. You, laying these slight sullies on my son, as 'twere a thing a little soiled in the making. Mark you, your party in converse, him you would sound, having ever seen in the predominant crimes the youth you breathe of is guilty, be assured he closes with you in this consequence. Good sir, or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase in the edition of Man and Country.
Oh, very good, my lord.
And then, sir, does he this? He does... What was I about to say? By the mass, I was about to say something. Where did I leave?
At closes in the consequence, at friend and gentleman.
Closes in the consequence. Aye, marry. He closes thus. I know the gentleman. I saw him yesterday, or the other day, then or then with such and such. And as you say, there he was gaming, there falling out at tennis, or perchance, I saw him enter such a house of sale, a brothel, or so forth. See you now your bait of falsehood take you a carp of truth? And thus do we, of wisdom and of reach, from indirections, find directions out. So by my former lecture and advice, shall you, my son? You have me, have you not?
I have, my lord.
God be with you. Fare you well.
Good, my lord.
Observe his inclination in thyself.
I shall, my lord.
And let him ply his music.
Well, my lord.
Farewell. How now, Ophelia? What's the matter?
My lord, I have been so affrighted.
With what in the name of God?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, the Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all unbraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, ungartered, and down gived to his ankle, pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous in purport, as if he had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors. He comes before me.
Mad for thy love.
I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said he?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his hand thus o'er his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last, a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head thus waving up and down, he raised a sigh, so piteous and profound, as it did seem to shatter all his bulk, and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and with his head thus over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for out of doors went he without their helps, and to the last bended their light on me.
Come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property foredoes itself, and lends to will the desperate undertakings as oft as any passions under heaven that does afflict our natures. I'm sorry. What, have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord, but as you did command, I did repel his letters, and denied his access to me.
That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not courted him. I feared he did but trifle him, and to rack thee. Beshrew my jealousy. By heaven, it is as proper for our age to cast beyond ourselves in our opinions, as it is for the younger sort to lack discretion. Come, go with me. This must be known, which, being kept close, might move more grief to hide than hate to utter love. Come.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, that we much did long to see. The need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation, so call it, sith nor the exterior nor the inward man resembles what it was. What it should be, more than his father's death, that hath put him so far from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream of. I do entreat you both, that being of such young an age brought up with him, and sith so natured to his youth and behavior, that you vouchsafe to rest here in the court some little while, so by your companies to bring him on to certain pleasures, and to gather, as what on firm occasion you may glean. Whether aught unknown to us afflicts him thus, that opened lies within our remedy.
Good gentleman, he hath much talked of you, and sure I am two men there is not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you, to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Oh, both your majesties might by the sovereign power you have of us put your dread pleasures more into command than to entreaty.
But we both obey, and here give up ourselves in full bent to lay our services freely at your feet to be commanded.
Thanks, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern.
Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz. And I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son.
Heaven make our presence and practices pleasant and helpful to him.
Aye, amen.
The ambassadors from Norway, my good lord, are joyfully returned.
Thou still hast been the father of good news.
Have I, my lord? I assure my good liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God and to my gracious king. And I do believe that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That I do long to hear.
Give first admittance to the ambassadors. My news shall be the fruit to that great feast.
Thyself to graces to them. Let them in. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, he hath found the head and source of all your son's distemper.
I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death and our hasty marriage.
We shall sift him. Welcome, dear friends. What from our brother Norway?
Most fair return of greetings and desires. Upon our first, he set out to suppress against his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be a preparation against the Polak, but further looked into turned to be against your highness.
Where it grieved that so his sickness, age, and impotence was falsely borne in hand, sends out arrests on foreign bros, which he in brief obeys, receives rebukes from Norway, and in fine, makes vows before his uncle never to give a say of arms against your majesty.
Whereon old Norway, overcome with joy, gives him 300,000 crown annual fee, and is commissioned to employ those soldiers. So, levied as before, against the Polak, with an entreaty herein further shown that it might please your majesty to give quiet pass to your kingdom for this enterprise in such regards of safety and allowance as there in our set down.
It likes us well, and at a more considered time we'll read, answer, and think upon these issues. For now, we thank you for your well-took labor. Go to your rest. Tonight we'll feast together. Most welcome home.
This business is well ended. My liege and madam, to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night night, and time is time, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness to limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad call I it, for to define true madness, what is it to be nothing else but mad? But let that go.
More matter with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That he's mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity. And pity 'tis true. A foolish figure. But farewell it, for I will use no art. Mad let us grant him then. And now remains that we find out the cause of this effect. Or rather, the cause of this defect. For this effect defected comes by cause. Thus it remains, and the remainder thus. Perpend. I have a daughter, have while she is mine, who, in her duty and obedience mark, hath given me this. Now gather and surmise. To the celestial, and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase. But gather. In her excellent white bosom, these, etc.
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while. I will be faithful.
Doubt thou the stars are fire. Doubt that the sun doth move. Doubt truth to be a liar. But never doubt I love.
Oh dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best. Oh, most best. Believe it. Adieu. Thine evermore, most dear lady, whilst this sheen is to him. Hamlet.
This, in obedience, hath my daughter given to me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell out by time, by means, and place, all given to mine ear.
How hath she received his love?
What do you think of me?
Why, as a man, faithful and honorable.
I would fain prove so. But what might you think, when I'd seen this hot love on the wing? As I perceive it, I must tell you that, before my daughter told me. What might you, or my majesty the queen here, think, if I had played the desk, or table book, or looked upon this wink, or given my heart a winking, mute and dumb, or looked upon this love with idle sight? What might you think? I know. I went round to work, and to my young mistress thus did I bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince, out of thy star, this must not be. And then I prescripts gave her, that she should lock herself from his escort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens. Which done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he, repelled, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence to a watch, thence to a weakness, thence to a lightness, and by this declension into the madness where now he raves, and all we mourn for.
Do you think 'tis this?
It may be, very like.
Hath there ever been a time when I had positively said, 'tis so, when it had proven otherwise?
Not that I know.
Take this from this, if this be otherwise. If circumstances lead me, I will find where truth is hid, though it were hid indeed within the center.
How shall we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks together 4 hours in the lobby.
So he does indeed.
At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an aros then. Mark the encounter. If you love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant to his state, but keep a farm and carters.
We shall try it.
But look where sadly the poor wretch comes reading.
Away, I do beseech you both. Away. I'll board him presently. Oh, give me leave. How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Well, God a mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent well. You are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
Oh, then I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord?
Aye, sir. To be honest as this world goes is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, my lord.
For if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog, being a good kissing carrion. Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but as your daughter may conceive, friend, look to it.
How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter. And yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He is far gone. And truly in my youth I suffered much extremity for love, much like this. I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord?
Words. Words. Words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
I mean the matter that you read, my lord.
Slander, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards, that their faces are wrinkled, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit together with most weak hams. All of which I most powerfully and potently believe. Yet I hold it not honesty enough to have it thus set down. For, sir, you shall grow as old as I am, if, like a crab, you could grow backwards.
Though this be madness, yet there is method in it. Will you walk out in the air, my lord?
Into my grave?
Aye, that's out of the air. How pregnant sometimes his replies are. My lord, I will take my leave of you.
You cannot, sir, take from me anything I'd more willingly part withal. Except my life. Except my life. Except my life.
Fare you well, my lord.
These tedious old fools.
You go to seek the Lord Hamlet? There he is.
God save you, sir.
My honored lord.
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends. How dost thou, Guildenstern? Rosencrantz. My good lads, how do you both?
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy in that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoes.
Neither, my lord.
Ah, then you live about her waist, or in the middle of her favor.
Oh, faith, her private suite.
Oh, in the secret parts of fortune most true. She is a strumpet. What news?
None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
Oh, then is doomsday near? But your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord?
Denmark's a prison.
Ah, then is the world one.
Aye, a goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons. Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not so, my lord.
Why then, 'tis none for you. But there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison.
Why, then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
Oh God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself king of infinite space. Would it not that I have bad dreams?
Which dreams indeed are ambition, for the very substances of the ambitious is merely the shadow of a dream.
A dream itself is but a shadow.
Truly, and I hold ambitions of so light and airy a quality that it is but a shadow.
Then are our beggars' bodies, and our outstretched heroes and monarchs are beggars' shadows. What make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord, no other occasion.
Oh, beggar that I am even poor in thanks, but I thank you. And sure, dear friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? Is it of your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Anything but to the purpose. You were sent for, and there is a kind of confession in your looks which your crafts have not modesty enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
How so, my lord?
That you must teach me. But let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship. Be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no.
What say you?
Nay then, I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
And I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen shall moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercise, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, it seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air. Look you, this brave overhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire. Why, it appeareth nothing to me but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action how like an angel, in apprehension how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No, nor woman neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
There was no such stuff in my thoughts, my lord.
Why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me?
Just to think, if you delight not in man, think what Lenten entertainments the players shall receive from you. We've coated them on the way, and hither they have come to offer you service.
He that plays the king shall have tribute on me. What players are they?
Oh, even those who were wont to take such delight in the tragedians of the city.
How chances it they travel? Their residence, both in reputation and profit, was better both ways.
I think their inhibition comes from the means of the late innovation.
Do they hold the same estimation they did when I was in the city? Are they so followed?
No, my lord, they are not.
How comes it? Do they grow rusty?
Nay, their endeavor keeps them in the wonted place. But there are, sir, an array of children, biases, who cry on top of a question, and are so tyrannically clapped for it. These are now the fashion, and so they do berattle the common stages that many wearing rapiers are afraid of goose quills and do scarce come thither.
Is it possible?
Oh, there has been much throwing about of brains.
Do the boys carry it away?
That they do, my lord.
They're the players!
Come, gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. But my uncle father and aunt mother are deceived.
In what, my lord?
I am but mad, north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Well be with you, gentlemen.
Hark you, Guildenstern, and you too. At each ear a hearer. That great baby you see there is not yet out of his swaddling clouts.
Happily he is the second time come to them. They say an old man is twice the child.
I prophesy he comes to tell me of the players.
Ooh.
Mark.
My lord, I have news to tell you.
My lord, I have news to tell you.
The actors are come hither, my lord.
Buzz, buzz, buzz.
Upon my honor.
Then came each actor on his ass.
The best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral, pastoral comical, historical pastoral, tragical historical, tragical comical historical pastoral, scene undividable, or poem unlimited.
O Jephthah, judge of Israel, what a treasure hast thou!
What a treasure had he, my lord?
Why, one fair daughter and no more, that which he loved passing well.
Still on my daughter.
Am I not in the right, O Jephthah?
If you call me Jephthah, my lord, I have a daughter I love passing well.
Nay, that follows not.
What follows then, my lord?
Why, as by lot, God wot. And then you know, it came to pass as most like it was. Welcome, welcome all. I'm glad to see you all. Welcome, friends. Straight. Give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech.
What speech, my good lord?
Oh, I heard thee speak a speech once. 'Twas Aeneas' tale to Dido, of it especially about where he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. Let me see. The rugged Pierce, he whose sable arms, black as his purpose, did the night resemble, hath now, with his dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal, head to foot, now is he total ghouls, horridly tricked with the blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, that lend a tyrannous and damned light to thy lord's murder. Oh, prithee, say on. He's for a jig or a tale of bawdry, or he sleeps. Say on. Come to Hecuba.
But who, ah woe, had seen the Moblid Queen?
The Moblid Queen.
This is good. Moblid Queen is good.
Run barefoot up and down, threatening the flames. Who this had seen against fortune's sake would treason have pronounced. But if the gods themselves did see her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven and passion in the gods.
But look where he has outturned his color and has tears in his eyes. Prithee, no more.
Oh, 'tis well. We'll have thee speak out the rest of this soon. Good, my lord. Will you see the players well bestowed?
Yeah.
Do you hear me? Let them be well used, for they are the very abstract and brief chronicles of our time. After your death, you were better a bad epitaph than no ill report while you lived.
My lord, I will use them according to their desert.
Oh, God's bodykins, man, much better. Use every man after his desert, and who shall escape whipping? Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take them in.
Come, sirs.
We'll have a play tomorrow. Dost thou hear me, old friend? You could for a need study a speech of some dozen or 16 lines, which I would set down, could you not?
Aye, my lord.
And you can play the murder of Gonzaga.
Aye, my lord.
Very well. My good friends, I'll leave you till tonight. You are welcome to Elsinore.
Good, my lord.
So goodbye to you.
Oh.
Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage warmed, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing. For Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do, had he the motive and cue for passion that I have? Why, he would drown the stage with tears, cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy-meted rascal, must peak like John of dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king, upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me a villain? Bloody, bawdy villain. Remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain, oh vengeance! Why, what an ass am I, that I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to revenge by heaven and hell, must, like a whore, unpack my heart with words, and fall a-cursing like a buried drab, a scullion, fire-potted off foe! About my brains, I will have these players play something, like the murder of my father before mine uncle. If he do blench, I know my course. For the spirit that I have seen may have been a devil, and the devil has power to assume a pleasing shape. And perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, he abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
To be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof when we would bring him onto some confession of his true state.
Did he receive you well?
Almost like a gentleman.
But with much forcing of his disposition.
Niggard of question, but of our demands most free in his reply.
Did you essay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out that certain players we are wrought on the way. Of this we told him, and there did seem in him to be a kind of joy to hear of it. They're here about the court, and as I think, they have come this night to offer him service.
'Tis most true. And he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter.
With all my heart, and much it does content me to hear him so inclined. I pray you, give him further edge, and push his conscience into these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet thither, so that he may hear, as 'twere by accident, affront Ophelia.
Oh, I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, read on this book. Gracious, to please you, we will bestow ourselves. I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep, no more, and by sleep to say we end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks which flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. There's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, the patient merit of the unworthy take, when he himself might his quietus make with the bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, makes us rather bear those ills that we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all. But soft you now. The fair Ophelia. Nymph in thy orisons, be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord, how does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have long and longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No. Not I. I never gave you aught.
My honored lord, you know right well you did. And with them, words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich. Their perfume lost, take these again. For, to the noble mind, rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty shall admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Ay, truly. For the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd, than the force of honesty can transform beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord. You made me believe so.
Well, you should not have believed me. I loved you not. Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, yet I could accuse myself of such things. It were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my back than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do, crawling between earth and heaven? We are errant knaves all, believe none of us. What should such fellows as I do, crawling between earth and heaven? Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where is your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be locked upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house! Farewell.
Heavenly powers, restore him.
And if thou dost marry, marry a fool. He is chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. And if thou dost marry, marry a fool, please. for wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. Go thy ways to another and quickly to farewell. I have heard your pennies too well enough. You jig, you amble, you lisp, you nickname God's creatures, and you make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to! I'm a moron and it has made me mad. I say there shall be no more marriage! Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery. Go.
Oh, what a noble mind is your throne. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye-tongue sword. The expectancy and rose of the fair state. The glass of fashion and the mold of form. The observed of all observers. Quite down. And I, of ladies most dejected and wretched, that suck the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled, out of time and harsh. That unmatched form and stature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Woe is me, to have seen what I have seen. See what I see.
Love. His affections do not that way tend. Nor what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was quite like madness. There's something on his soul, o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger. For which to prevent, to have in quick determination thus sit down. He shall with speed to England, for the demand of our neglected tribute. Haply the seas and countries different, with variable objects, will expel this something settled matter from his heart.
It shall do well. But yet still do I believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprang from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what the Lord Hamlet has said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please. But, if you hold it fit, after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the very ear of their confidence. If she find him not, to England send him, or confine him wherever your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounce it to you, trippingly on the tongue. If you mouth it, as many of our players do, I had us leave the town prior spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air with your hand thus, but use all gently, for in the very torrent, tempest, and as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a certain temperance that will give it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the soul to hear a robustious, periwig-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to the very rags, to split the ears of groundlings, who for the most part are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I should have such a fellow whipped for overdoing it. Pray you, avoid it.
I warrant, your honor.
Be not too tame neither, but suit the action to the word to the action, overstepping not the modesty of nature. I have seen players play and heard others praise, who have so strutted and bellowed, I thought some of nature's journeymen hath made men, and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably.
I hope we have reformed that indifferently with us, sir.
Oh, reform it altogether. And let those of you that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them. For there be some of them that will laugh, to get some quantity of barren spectators to laugh too. When there be some necessary question of the play, be then to be considered. It is villainous, and shows the most pitiful ambition in the man that uses it. Pray you, avoid it. Go. Make you ready. How now, sir? Will the king hear this piece of work?
And the queen too, and that presently.
Bid the players make haste. Will you two help to hasten them? What ho! Horatio!
Here, sweet lord, at your service.
Horatio, thou art even as just a man as ever my conversation coped withal.
Oh, my dear lord.
Nay, do not think I flatter. For what advancement may I hope from thee? Why should the poor be flattered? Give me the man that is not passion's slave, and I'll wear him in my heart's core. Aye, in my heart of hearts, as I hold you. Something too much of this. There's a play tonight before the king. A scene of it comes especially close to which I have told thee of my father's murder. When thou seest that act afoot, observe mine uncle. Give him heedful note, for I mine eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord, if ye steal aught while the play is playing and escape detection, I'll pay the theft.
Here, they come. I must be idle. Get you a place.
How fares our cousin Hamlet?
Be the players ready?
Aye, my lord. They stay upon your patience.
Come hither, my dear Hamlet. Sit by me.
No, mother. Here's meadow more attractive.
Do you mark that?
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
Oh, but I mean my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Did you think I meant country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
'Tis a fair thought to lie between maids' legs.
What is, my lord?
Nothing.
You are married, my lord.
Who, I?
Aye, my lord.
Why, what should a man do but be merry? For look how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
So long? Why, then let the devil wear black, for I'll wear suits of sables. Oh, heavens! Died 2 months ago and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope a great man's memory will outlive him a half of a year. Ishing Malecho. It means mischief.
We like this show imports the argument of the play.
We shall tell by this fellow. The players cannot keep counsel, they'll tell all.
Will they tell us what this show meant?
Aye, or any other show you show them. Be you not ashamed to show, and he'll not shame to tell you what it means.
You are not. I'll mark the play.
For us and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
Is this the prologue or the posy of a ring?
'Tis brief, my lord.
As women's love.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus' cart gone round, since love our hearts and Hymen did our hands unite commutual in most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon once again counter our love be done. But woe is me! You are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state, that I distrust you. Where love is great, the littlest doubts are fear. Where fears grow great, great love grows there.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers their functions leave to do. But thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and haply one as kind. For second husband shalt thou.
Oh, confound the rest! Such love must needs be treason in my breast. In second husband let me be accursed. None wed the second but who killed the first.
That's wormwood.
A second time I killed my husband dead. A second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine oft we break. Our wills and fates do so contrary run, that our devices still are overthrown. So think thou wilt no second husband win, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth give me food, nor heaven light. Sport to repose lock me day and night. Both here and hence, pursue me lasting strife. Once I be a widow, ever be I wife.
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain would I beguile a tedious day with sleep.
Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, what think you of this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Hamlet, what do you call this play?
The Mousetrap. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of it? Your Majesty and we that have free souls, it touches us not. This is one Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You're as good as a chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love if I could see the puppets dollying.
Keen, you are keen.
Come, the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge.
Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, and time agreed. Thou makest your rank of midnight weeds collected. Unwholesome life, usurp immediately.
The king rises!
What, fighting with false fire?
How fares, my lord?
Give order the play!
Give me some light!
Lights! Lights! Lights!
Why let the strucken deer go weep, the heartened gull play? For some must watch while some must sleep. Thus runs the world away.
Would not this, sir, and a forest of feathers get me a fellowship in a cry of players?
Half a share.
A whole one eye! For thou dost know, O Damon dear, this realm dismantles was. Of Jove himself that now reigns here, a very, very Padjock.
You might have rhymed.
Didst perceive.
Very well.
I'll take the ghost word for £1,000. Upon the talk of the poisoning.
I did very well note him.
Come some music. But the king like not the comedy, why then be like he likes it not purdy.
Good, my lord. Vouchsafe me a word with you.
A whole history, aye.
The king, sir.
Aye, sir. What of him?
Is in his retirement marvelous distempered.
Oh. You are welcome.
Nay, good my lord. This courtesy is not of the right breed. If you shall make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased. But sir, such an answer as I can make, you shall command. Or rather, as you say, my mother. Oh, therefore, no more but to the matter. My mother, you say.
Then thus she says, your behavior hath struck her with amusement and admiration.
Oh, such a son that can so astonish a mother. But is there no sequel on the heels of this mother's admiration?
She wishes to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
We shall obey were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
Oh, and still do by these pickers and stealers.
Good my lord, what is the cause of your distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberties if you deny your griefs to your friends.
Sir, I lack advancement.
But how can you when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
Aye, sir. But while the grass grows... the proverb is something musty. Let me see a recorder. Will you play upon this pipe?
My lord, I cannot.
Oh, I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it.
It is as easy as lying. Govern these vintages with your fingers and thumbs, give breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most excellent music.
I have not the skill.
Why, look you now how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stuffs. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You'd sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. There is much excellent voice and music in this little organ that you cannot make it speak. Splud! Do you think I'm easier to be played on than a pipe? Though you can French me, you cannot prey upon me.
My lord, the queen would speak with you, and presently.
Do you see that yonder cloud in the shape of a camel?
By the mass, and 'tis very like a camel indeed.
Yet methinks it is more like a weasel.
It is backed like a weasel.
Or more like a whale.
Very like a whale.
Then I shall come to my mother by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. Tis now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to the world. Soft now to my mother. Heart, lose not thy nature. Let me be cruel, but not unnatural. I shall speak daggers to her, but use none.
I like him not. Nor stands it safe with me to let his madness rage, therefore prepare you. I, your commission, will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you.
We will ourselves provide most holy and religious fear. It is to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
The single and peculiar life is bound with all the strength and armor of the mind to keep itself from annoyance, but more so that spirit, upon whose strength rests and depends the lives of many. Never alone did the king but sigh, but with a general groan.
Arm you, I pray you, for this speedy voyage, for we will fetters put about this fear which now goes too free-footed.
We will hasten us.
My lord. He's going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras, I'll convey myself to hear and see the process. Fare you well, my lord. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed, and tell you what I know.
Thanks, good my lord. Oh, my offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it. A brother's murder. Pray can I not through inclination be as sharp as will? My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent. And like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause, where I should first begin. And both neglect. What if this hand were thicker than itself in brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it clean as snow? But oh, what form of prayer shall serve my turn? Forgive me of my foul murder! But no, that cannot be, for I am still possessed of those effects for which I did murder. My crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. Can one be pardoned and retain the offense? In the corrupted currents of this world, offense's gilded hand oft shoves by justice, and oft is seen the gilded prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There, the action lies in its true nature, and we ourselves compelled even to the very teeth and forehead of our faults to give in evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state. Oh, bosom black as death. Oh, limed soul which struggling to be free art more engaged. Help, angels! Make essay. Bow stubborn knees and hearts with strings of steel. Be soft as sinews of a newborn babe. All may be well.
Now might I do it, Pat. Now he's praying. And now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so I am revenged. That would be scared. A villain kills my father. And for that, I, his sole son, do the same villain sent to heaven? Why, this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with his crimes broad blown as flush as May. And how his audit stands, who knows saves heaven? But in our circumstance, a course of thought, and 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged for taking him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for passage? No. Up, sword. Know thou a more horrid hint. When he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at a game of swearing, or about some act that has no relish or salvation in it, then trip him, that his heels may kick in heaven, and his soul be as damned and black as hell whereto it goes. So, now to my mother. This physic thus prolongs thy sickly days.
come straight. I'll silence me even here.
Mother,
Pray you be
mother,
round
mother.
with him.
I'll warrant you. Fear me not. Withdraw. I hear him coming.
Now, mother, what is the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, come. You answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rood not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then I'll set those to you that can speak.
Nay, come and sit you down.
What will
You
thou
shall
do?
not budge
Thou wilt not
until I set
murder
you
me!
on glass,
Help!
or you may see the inmost
Help!
heart.
Help!
How now, rat? Dead for a ducat dead.
Ah! I am slain!
Oh me, what hast thou done?
Nay. I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this?
A bloody deed, good mother. Almost as bad as kill a king and marry with his brother?
As kill a king?
Aye, 'twas my word. Oh. Thy wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou find'st to be too busy in some danger. Leave the wringing of your hands. Peace. Sit you down, and I shall wring your heart, for so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff, if proof had not made it proof against custom.
What have I done, that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act, dear mother, that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes the rose off the fair forehead of an innocent love and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dicers' oaths.
Ay me, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look you here, upon this picture, and then on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what grace was seated upon this brow, a form and cause conjoined, where every god did seem to set its seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. This is your husband, like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed a batten on this moor? Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment, and what judgment would step from this to this? Shame, where is thy blush?
Speak no more. Thou turnest my eyes into my very soul. There I see such dark and grained spots as will not leave their tint.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter my ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the tithe of the president lord, a cutpurse of the empire and the rule, that off the shelf a precious diadem stole and put in his pocket.
No more!
A king of shreds and of patches. Save me and hover over me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What word, your gracious figure?
Alas, he's mad.
Do you not come, your tardy son to chide, that lapsed in time and passion lets go by the important acting of your dread command? Oh, say!
Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, mother?
Alas, how is it with you? That you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse. O my gentle son, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper, sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look?
On him. On him! Look you now how pale he glares. His form and cause conjoined, breaching to stones would make them capable. Do not look upon me! Lest with your piteous action you convert my stern effects from what I have to do with one true color. Tears perchance for blood.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all. Yet all that is I see.
Nor did you nothing hear. Look you now how he steals away. My father in his habit as he lived. Why, look where he goes. Even now out of the portal.
This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy? My pulse as yours doth temperately keep time and makes healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Mother, lay not that flattering unction unto your soul. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds only to make them ranker.
Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, live the pure with the other half, and throw away the worser part of it. Good night, mother. But go not to my uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence. And when thou art desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. For this same Lord I do repent. But heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So good night, mother. I must be cruel only to be kind. This bad begins and worse remains behind. One more word, good mother.
What shall I do?
This by no means do I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed. Pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him for a pair of reachy kisses, or paddling in your damned neck with his fingers, make you to ravel out that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you let him know. Let the birds fly like the famous ape to try conclusions. In the basket creep and break your own neck down.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
I must to England, you know that.
Alas, I had forgot. 'Tis so concluded on.
I have letters sealed. My two schoolfellows, whom I trust as I will adders fanged, they bear the mandate. They must marshal me to knavery and sweep my way. But let it work. For 'tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own petard. This fellow shall set me packing. I'll love the guts into the neighbor room. Good night, mother. This counselor is now most still, most secret, and most grave, who is in life a foolish prating knave. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother.
You must translate, 'tis fit we understand them. Gertrude, where's your son?
Bestow this place on us a little while. Ah, mine own lord, what have I seen tonight?
Gertrude, how does Hamlet?
Mad as the sea and wind when both contend which is the mightier. In his lawless fit behind the arras, hearing something stir, whips out a rapier, cries, "A rat! A rat!" And in this brainish apprehension kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed. It had been so with us had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all. To you, yourself, to us, to everyone. But alas, how shall this bloody deed be answered? Where has he gone?
To draw apart the body he hath killed. He weeps for what is done.
Oh, Gertrude, come away. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch than we shall ship him hence. And this foul deed we must with all our majesty and skill both countenance and excuse. Ho, Guildenstern! Join you, I pray you, with some further aid. Hamlet in his madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go, seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body to the chapel. I pray you, hasten this. And Gertrude, we'll call upon our wisest friends, and tell them both what we mean to do and what's untimely done. Oh, come away. My soul is full of discord and dismay.
Safely stowed.
Lord Hamlet! Lord Hamlet!
But soft, what noise? Who calls on Hamlet? Here they come.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust, whereto 'tis kin.
Well, tell us where it is, that we may take it thence and bear it to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not mine own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge, what replication is to be made by the son of a king?
Call you me a sponge, my lord?
Aye, sir. That soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities. Such officers do the king best service in the end. He keeps you like an apple in the corner of his jaw, first mouthed, last to be swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you, and sponge, you are dry again.
I understand you not, my lord.
I am very glad. A knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear.
My lord, you must tell us where the body is and come with us to the king.
The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
A thing, my lord?
Of nothing. Take me to him.
Find the body. How dangerous it is this man goes loose, but we must not put the strong law on him. He's loved of the distracted multitude who think not in their judgment, but their eyes.
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
But where is he?
Without, guarded, to know your pleasure.
Bring him in.
Bring in the lord!
Hamlet, where is Polonius?
At supper.
At supper where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten.
Hamlet, where is Polonius?
In heaven. Send thither to see, and if your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. And if you find him not within a month,
You shall notice him as you go up the stairs into the lobby.
Go, seek him there.
He will stay till you come.
Hamlet, this deed for thine especial safety, which we do tender as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must ship thee hence. Therefore prepare you. The bark is ready, the associates tend, and the wind at help, and everything is bent for England.
For England?
Aye, Hamlet.
Good.
So would it be if thou knewest our purposes.
I see a cherub that sees them. But come for England. Farewell, my dear mother.
Your loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Father and mother is flesh and blood. Flesh and blood is one body. Therefore, my mother. Come.
Follow him at foot. Tempt him with speed abroad. I'll have him hence tonight. Away! For all is sealed and done that Elsie is on the affair. Therefore, away! And England, if thou hold'st my love at aught, thou wilt not impede my sovereign processes, which impart at full by letter concurring to the effect of the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England, for like the hectic in my blood rages, and thou must cure me. Till I hear 'tis done, howe'er my joys, my haps were ne'er begun.
King, tell him that by his license Fortinbras craves the conveyance of promised march across his kingdom. You know the rendezvous. If that his majesty would all but that we shall express our duty in his eye.
I will do it, my lord.
Go softly on.
Good sir, whose powers are these?
They're of Norway, sir.
How purpose, sir, I pray you?
Against some part of Poland.
Who commands them, sir?
The nephew to old Norway, Fortinbras.
Goes it against some main of Poland or for some frontier?
We go to gain a little patch of ground that hath within it no profit but the name.
Why, then the Polak never will defend it.
Yes, it is already garrisoned.
2,000 souls and 20,000 ducats will not debate the question of this straw. This is the imposture of much wealth and peace. That inward breaks and shows no cause without why man dies. I humbly thank you, sir.
God be with you.
Will it please you go, my lord?
Go a little ahead. I'll be with you straight. All occasions to inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man with chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed, a beast no more? I do not know why yet I live to say this thing's to do. Sith I have the cause, and will, and strength, and means to do it. Examples gross as the earth exhort me. Witness this army here of such mass and charge, led by a tender and delicate prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puffed, makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare. Rightly to be great when honor's at stake. How stand I then, that have a father killed, a mother whored, excitements of my reason and my blood, and I let all sleep? While to my shame, I see the imminent death of 20,000 men, who for a fantasy and a trick of fame go to their graves like beds. Well, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth.
indeed distract, her mood will needs be pitied.
What would she have?
She speaks much of her father, says she hears there's tricks in the world, and hems and beats her heart, spurns enviously at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is nothing, yet the unshapen use of it doth move the hearer to collection.
'Twere best she be spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds.
Let her come in. To my sick soul, a since true nature is, each toy seems prologue to some great amiss, so full of artless jealousy is guilt. It spills itself in fearing to be spilt.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
Why, how now, Ophelia?
How should I, your true love, know from another one? By his cockle, hat, and staff, and his sandal shoon.
Alas, sweet lady, what imports this song?
Say you? Nay, pray you, mark. He is dead and gone, lady. He is dead and gone. At his head's a grass-green turf, at his heels a stone.
Nay, but Ophelia.
Pray you, mark. White his shroud, as the mountain snow, larded all with sweet flowers.
Alas, look here, my lord.
Which bewept to the ground did not go, with true love showers.
How do you, pretty lady?
Well, God dill you. They say the owl was a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we are, but know not what we may be. God be at your table.
Conceit upon her father.
Pray, no words of this, but when they ask you what it means, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, all in the morning betime, and I, a maid, at your window to be your Valentine. Then up he rose, and donned his clothes, and up the chamber door, let in a maid, that out a maid, never departed more.
Pretty Ophelia.
Indeed, without an oath I'll make an end on't. By Jesu, and by Saint Charity, alack and fie for shame, young men will do it if they come to it. By cock they are to blame. Quoth she, before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. He answers, so I would have done by yonder sun, and thou hast not come to my bed.
How long has she been thus?
I hope all will be well. You must be patient. I cannot choose but weep. To think they would lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it. And so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night. Good night.
Give her good watch, I pray you. Oh, this is the poison of deep grief. All from her father's death, and now behold. Oh, Gertrude. When sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. First her father slain, next your son gone, and he, most violent author of his own remove, the people muddied, thick and unwholesome in their thoughts and whispers of good Polonius' death. Oh, poor Ophelia, so divided from herself and from her judgment. Last, and as much containing as all this, her brother is in secret come from France. Oh, Gertrude, this, like to a murdering peace in many places, gives me superfluous death. Attend!
Save yourself, my lord. The ocean overpeering of his lips eats not the flaps with more imperious haste than young Laertes. And arrived his head overbears your officers. The rabble call him Lord. They cry, choose we, Laertes shall be king. Caps, hands, and tongues applaud to the clouds. Laertes shall be king. Laertes king.
How cheerfully on the false trail they cry. Oh, this is counter, you false Danish dogs.
Where's the king? Sirs, stand you all without. I thank you, keep the door. Oh, thou vile king, give me my father!
That drop of blood that's calm proclaims me bastard. Christ cuckold to my father, brands the harlot even here between the chaste, unspurged brow of my true mother.
What is the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude. Do not fear our person. Tell me, Laertes, why art thou thus incensed? Let him go, Gertrude. Speak, man.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with, let come what comes, only I'll be revenged most thoroughly for my father.
Who shall stay you?
My will, not all the world.
Good Laertes, if you desire to know the truth of your dear father, is 't in your revenge? That sweepstake you will draw upon both friend and foe, winner and loser?
None but his enemies.
Will you know them then?
To his good friends, thus wide I'll ope my arms.
Why now you speak like a good son and a true gentleman. That I was guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensibly in grief for it.
How now? What noise is that?
Let her come in.
Ophelia. Ophelia? Oh, heat. Dry up my brains. Tear 7 times salt, burn out the sense and virtue of mine eye. O Rosa May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia. Oh heavens, is it possible that a young maid's wits are as mortal as an old man's life?
They bore him barefaced on the bier. Hey, Nani, hey, Nani. And in his grave rained many a tear. Very well, my dove.
Hast thou thy wits and didst persuade revenge? I could not move thus.
You must sing a down, a down. And you call him a down. Oh, how the wheel becomes it. It is the false steward that stole his master's daughter.
This nothing's more than matter.
There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray you, love, remember. And there's pansies. That's for thoughts.
Documented madness. Thoughts and remembrances fitted.
There's fennel for you and columbines. There's rue for you, and here's some for me. We may call it herb who grace the Sundays. Oh, you must wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they withered all when my father died. They say he made a good end. For bonny sweet Robin is all my joy.
Thoughts and afflictions. Passion, hell itself. She turns to favor. And to prettiness.
And will he not come again? And will he not come again? No, he is dead. Go to thy deathbed. He never will come again. His beard was white.
God. God by you.
Do you see this? Oh God!
Laertes, I must commune with you, grief. Be you content to lend your ear to me? We'll jointly labor with your soul to give it due content.
Let it be so. His means of death, his obscure funeral, cry to be heard as from heaven to earth that I must call to question.
So you shall. And where the offense is, let the great axe fall. I pray, go with me.
What are they that would speak with me?
Seafaring men, sir. They say they have letters for you.
Well, show them in. I know not from where in the world I should be greeted if not from Lord Hamlet.
God bless you, sir.
May he bless thee too.
He shall, sir, and it please him. There's a letter for you, sir. It came from the ambassador that was bound for England. If your name be Horatio, as I'm led to know it is.
Horatio, when thou shalt have overlooked this, give this fellow some means to the king. He has letters for him. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate, a very warlike appointment, gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor, and in the grapple I boarded them. On the instant they got clear of our ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy. They knew what they did. I am to do a good turn for them. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much speed as thou wouldst fly death. I have words to speak in thine ear will make thee dumb. This good fellow will bring thee where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of them I have much to tell thee. Farewell. Hamlet. I will give you way for these your letters, and do it the speedier that you may deliver me to him from whom you brought them.
Now you must your conscience in my acquittance seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend, since you have heard, and with a knowing ear, that he who hath your noble father slain pursued my life.
It well appears, but tell me why you proceed not against these feats so criminal and so capital in nature.
Oh, for two special reasons. The queen, his mother, lives almost by his looks, and for myself, my virtue or my plague, she is so conjunctive to my life and soul. The other reason why to a public count I might not go is the great love the general gender bear him, who, dipping all his faults in their affections, work like the spring that turneth wood to stone, convert his gyves to graces, so that my arrows, too slightly timbered for so loud a wind, would have reverted to my bow again, but not where I had aimed them.
And so have I a noble father lost, a sister driven to desperate terms, whose worth, if praises may go back again, stood challenger on mount of all the ages for her perfections. But my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps for that. You must not think we're made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our beards be shook with danger and call it pastime. You shortly shall hear more. I loved your father, and we love ourselves. And this I hope will teach you to imagine. How now? What news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. These to your majesty, this is the queen.
From Hamlet. Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord, they say. I saw them not.
Laertes, you shall hear. Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall thereunto recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet. What does this mean? Are all the rest returned? Or is it some abuse and no such thing?
Know you the hand?
'Tis Hamlet's character. Naked. And in a postscript here it says, alone. Can you advise me?
I'm lost in it, my lord. But let him come. It warms the very sickness of my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thus didst thou.
If it be so, Laertes, will you be ruled by me?
Aye, my lord. So you will not rule me to a peace?
To thine own peace. If he be now returned, I'll work him to an exploit now ripe in my device, under which he shall not choose but fall. And of his death no wind of blame shall breathe, that his own mother will uncharge the practice, and call it accident.
My lord, I will be ruled. The rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ.
It falls well. You've been talked of since your travels much, and that in Hamlet's hearing, about a quality in which they say you shine. Your sum of parts together did not pluck such envy from him as did this.
What part is that, my lord?
Oh, a very ribbon in the cap of youth. 2 months since, here was a gentleman from Normandy. Now, I have seen and served against the French, and they can well on horseback, but this man had witchcraft in it. He grew into his seat, and to such a wondrous doing brought his horse, as had he been incorpsed and demi-natured with the brave beast.
A Norman, was it?
A Norman.
Upon my life, Lamorne.
The very same.
I know him well. He is the brute indeed, and gem of all the nation.
He made a confession of you, and gave you such a masterly report for art and exercise in your defense, and for your rapier most especial, that he cried out, "'Twould be a sight indeed if one could match you." Sir, this report of his did Hamlet so envenom with his envy, that he could nothing do but hope and beg for your sudden or coming to play with him. Now out of this.
What out of this, my lord?
Laertes, was your father dear to you? Or are you but a painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
Why ask you this?
Hamlet has returned. What would you do to show yourself indeed your father's son, more than in words?
To cut his throat in the church.
Revenge shall have no bounds. But Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet returned will know you are come home. We'll send on him those that'll praise your excellence, and set a double varnish on the fame the Frenchman gave you. Call you in fine together, and lay a wager on your heads. He, being remiss, most generous, and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that with ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and in a passive practice requite him for your father.
I'll do it. And for that purpose, I'll anoint my sword. I brought an unction of the mountebank, so mortal that, but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare can save the thing from death that is but scratched withal. I'll touch my point to this contagion that, if I gall him slightly, it may be death.
Let's further think on this a while. Weigh what convenience, both of time and place, best suits our purpose. If we did fail, and that our drift look through our bad performance, 'twere better not assayed. Therefore, this plot should have some back or second, which will hold if this did last in proof. Solid. Let me see. We'll lay a wager on your cunning. I have it. When in your battle you are hot and dry, and make your bouts more violent to that end, and that he calls for drink, I'll have prepared for him a chalice by the knots, whereon but sip it. If he does escape your venom stuck, our purpose may hold fair. But soft. What noise?
When woe doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Oh, where?
There is a willow grows askant the brook, that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There were fantastic garlands stitched in it, of crow flowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples. The little shepherds give her grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers fall them. There, the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds clevering to hang, and envious sliver broke. And down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Close and wide, and mermaid like a while they bore her up. Each time she chanted snatches of old logs, as one incapable of her own distress. Like a creature, native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious leg to muddy death.
Alas, then she is drowned.
Drowned. Drowned.
Too much of water hast thou poured, Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech or fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly drowns it.
Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I have to do to calm its rage, and this I fear will give it start again. Therefore, let's follow.
Is she to be buried in Christian burial when she willfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is. Therefore make her grave straight. The crowner hath saddled it and calls it a Christian burial.
How can that be unless she drowned herself in her own defense?
Why, 'tis found so.
It must be. It cannot be else, for here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act, and an act hath 3 branches. It is to act, to do, to perform. Our gal, she drowned herself wittingly.
Nay, listen, good man, Delver.
Give me leave. Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. Now if the man goes to the water and drowns himself, it is an act. But if the water come to the man and drown him, he drowns not himself. Our gal, he that is not guilty of his own death, shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
Aye, marry 'tis. Crowner's quest law.
Well, you had the truth on it. If she had not been a gentlewoman, she should not have had a Christian burial.
Why, there thou sayest. And all the more pity that great folk in this world should have the more countenance to drown and hang themselves more than they're even Christian. Come, my spade. There are no ancient gentlemen in this world, but gardeners, ditchers, and grave makers. The old of Adam's profession.
Was he a gentleman?
He was the first that ever bore arms.
Why, but he had none.
What? Art a heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to my purpose, confess thy...
Go to.
What is he that builds stronger than a mason, a shipwright, and a carpenter?
The gallows maker, for his frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thee wit well, in good faith. But the gallows does well. But how does it well? It does well to those that do ill. And thou dost ill to say that the gallows is built stronger than the church. Come, to it again.
Who builds stronger than a mason, a shipwright or a carpenter?
Aye, tell me that.
Mass, I cannot tell.
Cudgel thy brains no more about it, for your dull ass will not mend his pace with beating. But when you're asked this question next, answer it thus. The grave maker, for the houses he builds last till doomsday. Go, get thee in. Fetch me a stoop of liquor. Oh, in youth, when I did love, methought it was very sweet.
Has this fellow no feeling for his business? He but sings in grave making.
Custom hath made it in him a property of easiness.
'Tis even so. The hand of little employment has the daintier sense.
Age with his steel and steps hath clawed me into his clutch and shipped me into the land as if I had never been such.
That skull had a tongue in it and could sing once. Look how the knave jowls it to the ground as if it were Cain's jawbone that did the first murder.
Oh, a pickaxe and a spade, and a shrouding sheet. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet.
There's another.
Why may that not be the skull of a lawyer? Where are his quiddities now? His quilities, his tenures, his cases, his tricks?
Why does he suffer this mad knave now to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? I'll speak to this fellow. Whose grave is this, sirrah?
Mine, sir. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for
I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
Thou liest out on it, sir, therefore it is not yours. For my own part, I lie not in it, yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it, to be in it, and say it is thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill away again from me to you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is! How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days in the year, I came to it that day our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Can you not tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the day that young Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent to England.
Ay, marry. Why was he sent to England?
Why, because he's mad. He will recover his wits there, and if he does not, 'tis no great matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. There the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Why, with losing his wits.
Upon what grounds?
Why, here in Denmark. I have been grave maker here, man and boy, for 30 years.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
If he be not rotten when he die, he will last you a good 8 or 9 years. Why, here's a skull now that hath lain you in the earth 23 years.
What? Whose was it?
Mad fellows it was. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him for a mad rogue. He once poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head. That skull, sir, was, sir, Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
This?
Even that.
Oh, alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest and most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times. And now how abhorred my imagination is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips I know not how oft I kissed. Where be your jibes now? Your gambols? Your songs? Your flashes of merriment that were wont to set a table at a roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning? Quite chapfallen. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked upon this fashion in the earth?
E'en so.
And smelt so?
E'en so, my lord.
To what base uses we may return, Horatio. But soft. Here comes the king, the queen, and the courtiers. Who is this they follow, and with such maimed rites?
This doth betoken the corpse they followed in with desperate hand for doing his own life. 'Twas of some estate.
Couch me a while and mark.
What ceremony else?
This is Laertes, a very noble youth. Mark.
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far large as we have warranty. Her death was doubtful, and but that great command overswayed the order. She should in ground unsanctified men lodge until the last trumpet.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. We should profane service to the dead to sing a requiem and such rest to her as to peace-parted souls.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling.
What? The fair Ophelia.
Sweets to the sweet farewell. I hope thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride by to have decked, sweet maid, and not have strewed thy grave.
O trouble woe. Fall 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while, till I have caught her once more in my arms.
What is he, whose grief bears such an emphasis, whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars, and makes them stand like wonder-wounded hearers? This is I, Hamlet the Dane.
The devil take thy soul.
Thou prayest not well. No! Prithee, take thy fingers from my throat! For though I am not splendid, and red, I have in me something dangerous, which let thy wisdom fear.
Pluck them asunder!
Hamlet! Hamlet!
Well, I will fight with you upon this theme until my eyelids will no longer wag.
Oh, my son, what theme?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not with their quantity of love make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
Oh, he is mad, Laertes.
So
Love of God, forbear him!
What thou do? Would weep, would fight, would fast, would tear thyself, drink up angel, eat a crocodile. I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine? To outface me with leaping into her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I.
This is mere madness.
I'll rant as well as thou.
Unless a while the fit will work on him.
Hear you, sir. What is the reason that you used me thus? I loved you ever. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, but the dog will have its day.
I pray thee, good Horatio, wait upon him. Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to a present push. Sweet Gertrude, set some watch upon your son. The grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Till then in patience our proceedings be.
Circumstance.
Remember it, my lord.
Sir, in my heart, there is a sort of fighting that would not let me sleep. There's a divinity that shapes our ends, rough hew them how we will.
That is most certain.
Up from my cabin, my sea gown scarfed about me, in the dark groped I to find out them. Had my desire fingered their packet, and in fine withdrew to my own room, making so bold, my fears forgetting manners, to unfold their grand commission, where I found Horatio. A royal knavery, an exact command, larded with many several sorts of reasons, importing Denmark's health and England's too. My head should be struck off.
Is it possible?
Here's the commission. Read it at more leisure. Wilt thou know how I did proceed?
I beseech you.
I sat me down, devised a new commission, and wrote it fair. Wilt thou know the effect of what I wrote?
I pray you.
An earnest conjuration from the king, as England was his faithful tributary. Upon the view and knowing of these contents, those two bearers shall be put to sudden death.
But how is this signed?
Why, even in that was heaven ordinate. I had my father's signet in my purse. Now the next day was a sea fight, and what to that was sequent thou knowest already.
So Rosencrantz and Guildenstern go to it.
Why, man, they did make love to their employment. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow. It is dangerous when the baser nature comes between the past and fell insensate points of mighty opposites.
Right. What a king is this?
Does it not think thee stand me now upon? He that hath killed my father, whored my mother, popped between the elections and my hopes, and thrown out his angle for my most proper life, is it not perfect conscience to quit him with this arm? But I'm very sorry, Horatio. At true Laertes, I did forget myself. But sure, seeing the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion.
Peace. Who comes here?
Your lordship is right welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir.
Sweet lord, if your lordship were leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I shall requite it with all the diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to its right use. 'Tis for the head.
I thank your lordship. It is very hot.
No, believe me. It is very cold. The wind is northerly.
It is indifferent. Cold, my lord, indeed.
But yet, methinks it is very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly, my lord. It is very sultry, as 'twere. I cannot tell how. My lord, his majesty bade me signify to you that he hath laid a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter. Here is newly come to court Laertes.
What reports the nomination of this gentleman?
Of Laertes?
Of him, sir.
I know you are not ignorant of
Oh, I would you did, sir. Yet in faith, if you did, it would not much approve me. Well, sir?
You are not ignorant of what excellence Laertes.
Oh, I dare not confess that, lest I should be compared with him in excellence. But to know a man well is to know himself.
I mean, sir, for his weapon.
What's his weapon?
Rapier and dagger.
Oh, that's 2 of his weapons, but well.
The king, sir, hath wagered with him 6 Barbary horses, against the which he has impawned, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards, with their assigns as girdle hangers, and so.
6 Barbary horses against 6 French swords. That's the French bench against the Danish. Why is all this impawned, as you call it?
The king, sir, hath laid, sir, that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. He hath laid on 12 for 9, and it would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
How if I answer no?
I mean, my lord, the opposition of your person in trial.
I shall walk in the hall. If it pleases his majesty, it is of the breathing time of day with me. Let the foils be brought, the gentleman willing, and the king hold his purpose. And I shall win for him, and I can. And if not, I shall gain nothing but the odd hits and my shame.
I commend my duty to your lordship.
Yours.
You will lose, my lord.
Oh, I do not think so. Since he went to France, I have been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds. But thou would not think ills all here about my heart. But it is no matter.
Nay, good my lord.
It is but foolery. Such a gain giving that would perhaps trouble a woman.
If your mind dislike anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither and say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There is a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. Let be.
Come, Hamlet, take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I have done you wrong, but pardon it as you are a gentleman. What I have done, that might your nature, honor, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. This audience knows, and you must needs have heard, how I am punished with the sore distraction. Was it Hamlet that wronged Laertes? No. Never Hamlet. If Hamlet from himself be taken away, and when he is not himself does wrong Laertes, then Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. Who does it then? His madness. If it be so, Hamlet is of the faction that is wronged. His madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming from a purpose to evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts that I have shot an arrow over the house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature, whose motive in this case should stir me most to my revenge. But on my terms of honor, I stand aloof, and will no reconcilement till by some elder masters of known honor I have a voice and precedent of peace to keep my name ungored. But, till that time, I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely. And will this brother's wager frankly play? Come, foils, give us the foils.
Come, one for me.
I'll be your foil, Laertes. Your skill against my ignorance shall stick like a star in the darkest night, fiery off indeed.
You mock me, sir.
No, by this hand.
Hamlet, know you the wager?
Very well. The king hath laid the odds on the weaker side.
I do not fear it. I have seen you both, and since he is better, we therefore have odds.
This is too heavy. Let me see another.
This likes me well. These foils have all a length.
Aye, my lord.
If Hamlet win the first or second hit, or quit in answer of the third exchange, the king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup a pearl shall he throw, richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. Bring me the cup. Now the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin. And you, the judges, bear a wary eye.
Come on, sir.
Come, my lord.
One! No! Judgment!
A hit! A very palpable hit.
Well, again.
Stay! Give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health.
I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while. Come on, sir. Another hit, what say you?
Attach and touch, I do confess it.
Here, Hamlet, take my napkin, rub thy brows. The queen rouses to thy fortune.
Good madam.
Sweet Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray you, pardon me.
It is the poisoned cup.
I dare not drink yet, madam. By and by.
Come, let me wipe thy face.
My lord, I'll hit him now.
I do not think it.
And yet it is almost against my conscience.
Come for a third Laertes, you do but dally. I pray you, pass with your best violence. I'm afeard you make a wanton of me.
Say you so, come on.
Nothing, neither way.
How about you now?
What?
Court them! They are incensed!
Nay, but come again.
Look to the queen!
They bleed on both sides. How is it, my lord?
How is it, Laertes?
Why is the wood cut to mine own sprint, Josser? I am justly killed with mine own treachery.
How does the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
No, no. The drink! The drink! Oh, my dear Hamlet! The drink! The drink! The poison!
What? Oh. Villainy! Let the doors be locked! Treachery! Seek it out.
It is here, Hamlet. Hamlet, thou art slain. In thee there's not half an hour's life. No medicine in the world can do thee good. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand, unbaited and envenomed. Lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poison, I can no more. The king's to blame.
pointed venom too. Then venom to thy work.
Oh, you defend me! I'm hurt.
Here, thou incestuous, murderous, damned Dane, drink off thy potion. Follow my mother.
He is justly served. It is a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgivenesses with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my father's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me.
Heaven make thee free of it. I'll follow thee. Though I am dead, Horatio. Thou wretched queen. Adieu. You that look pale and tremble at this chance, that are but mutes or audience to this act. Had I but time, I could tell you. I am dead, Horatio. Thou livest. Report me and my cause aright to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I'm more an antique Roman than a Dane. Here's yet some liquor left.
No, no, by heaven, I'll have it. Give me the cup. God, Horatio, what a wounded name. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world, draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. What warlike noise is this?
Fortune Bros, with conquest comes from Poland. To the ambassadors of England gives this warlike folly.
Oh, I die, Horatio, I'm dead. I prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice. The rest is silence.
Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. And flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.